What is up, though, Lions fans? It's your boy, Motor City Don P. We are back here once again on the ones and the twos, the threes and the fours, the fives, the six, the sevens, and all of the numbers. DJ, cut me up. Cut me up in my headphones. Okay. All right. Once again, as I said, when you see me front your TV, you already know one thing is for certain and three things are for sure. Number one is that the Motor City Cats are indeed back at it. Number two, we came to give you stats and not none of that static. And number three, perhaps the most important number of them all, number three. We want to make sure you keep your Lions news pragmatic. Go ahead, keep it pragmatic. And you may be asking yourself, how, Don, how, Mr. P, does one keep their Lions news pragmatic? Well, I'll tell you, it's a very simple process. I'm glad you asked. Smash like button, subscribe, share, do the do. And once you've done these things in any order, you have kept your Lions news pragmatic. And also, sharing is caring. So when you share this stream with your mothers, your cousins, your uncles, your sisters, your fathers, your brothers, your nieces, your nephews, your cousins, your uncles, your sisters, your mothers, your friends, your family, you name it, you have indeed cared about these people. What up to everybody in the chat? Your boy was a little bit, you know what I'm saying, a little bit under the weather, so I had to get my soup in, you know what I'm saying, I had to make sure my vocals had to take care of my vocal cords and make sure that y'all could hear me loud and clear. So I had to go ahead and get my soup. But the soup is finished and I am ready to go. So what up, though, Mr. Detroit City? What up, though? What's that? Mofo Jimbo. Oh, he a mofo. What up, though, Tactical Sport? We got some things coming in hot already. So let's see what y'all got to say. Don Wick back at it, all stats, no static. But hey, you know what? I actually started watching John Wick last night. I got up to the point because I had to go charge my car because I was way far from home and I was on 6%. So I was like, nope, not about to be breaking down on the expressway. So let me go ahead and do that. So yeah, I got up to about the part where the Russian beat up his son for stealing John Wick's car. And he was about to explain to him who John Wick was. And then I left. So I will carry on from that point. But I told you I would watch it. Under tremendous pressure from my chat, I am watching John Wick. Yes. See? No, you ain't got to do that. I'm watching. I started. What up, though? Motown Sports 77. Here's Johnny and all that. What up, though, Tactical Sport? All right. So, yes, I have started watching John Wick. I will finish it. It looks like it's shaping up to be pretty baller. I mean, it messed me up when they killed that man's dog, bro. Like, why'd you have to kill that man's dog like that, bro? Anyway, it is what it is, but we got some things we got to get into today. My show has been a little bit derailed, and I'm going to tell you why it's been derailed, because I'm pretty sure y'all already know. I was going to come up here and talk about Terrion Arnold being out for the season and what we going to do now. What we going to do now? All I know how to do is play football. What we going to do now? What we going to do now? Hashtag if you know, use the hashtag. I was going to talk about the options. Apparently, the Lions tried to poach a cornerback off of the Washington Commanders practice squad, who's a vet, but the Commanders blocked that move by moving him to the 53-man active roster. So, if you're going to get poached, you can move them to the active roster. So, obviously, they didn't want to lose the player. Definitely didn't want to lose him to the Lions. Because for some reason, this rivalry now between the Lions and the Commanders, which I don't agree with, because the Commanders didn't beat us, we beat ourselves. 5 turnovers to none ain't gonna get it done. And maybe we just wanted to wait. Did y'all ever think about this as Lions fans? Did y'all ever think that maybe, just maybe, we knew what kind of snake Osama bin Johnson was, and we didn't want him to be part of winning nothing? Did y'all just think that? Like, okay, as soon as he leaves, yeah, right? Like I got mind control over Debo. He'd be like, shut up. I'd be quiet. But when he leave, I'd be talking again. So it's like, it's the same thing, right? We knew Osama bin Johnson was a snake. So it was like, yeah, let him leave. And when he leave, yeah, we're going to win the NFC Championship. You already know what it is. Maybe that's what was going on. Maybe we have been lulled to sleep by Dan and Brad. Dan Holmes or Brad Campbell, whichever you like. So I was going to go and talk about all of that, right? I was going to talk about all that. What we're going to do? What we're going to do now? But apparently, we don't have to do much of anything. Okay? Apparently, we don't have to do much of anything because Terrion Arnold, he's not leaving. Right? Terrion Arnold came in there because we thought he was going for the year. And he came in and he said this.
I'm not leaving. I'm not leaving. I'm not fucking leaving!
That's what Terrion Arnold did. Right? Apparently, Terrion Arnold has gotten a second opinion on his shoulder. And his shoulder injury does not look like it's season ending. And it not only does it not look like it's season ending, that man gonna be back next week. Okay, well, maybe not next week. Okay, maybe not next week. But they said that he could be back as soon as this month. Now, we have 2 more games remaining this month. Well, actually, we got 2 more. We got the one, which is the Kansas City Chiefs, which is, we're going to talk about that. We're definitely going to get into that. Don't you worry. We're definitely going to get into that game. We're going to talk about the Kansas City Chiefs, but there's the Kansas City Chiefs, which is this Sunday night, right? And then there's the bye. And then we come back to play the Minnesota Vikings for the first time. So he may be back by the Minnesota Vikings game, or he may be back the next week after that. But it is good news. It's very good news for the Detroit Lions. It's very good news for Terrion Arnold. Personal-wise, as a person, as a human, we love to see that people are not injured. I would rejoice. I'm telling you right now, and I'm not lying to you. I would stand up and do a jig. I would do a dance. If somebody told me that Marcus Davenport played an entire season without a single injury, without a single hampering, and he made it through 17 games, he made it through 18, 19, 20, 21 maybe, right? Depending on what your seeding is. Do you need to be, if you're the first seed, it's 20 games. If you're not the first seed, it's 21. Right? If someone told me he did that because I would have to be asleep or I have to be somewhere unresponsive or unaware of what is going on for this to happen. But if someone told me that this happened, Marcus Davenport did all of that and he was healthy, I'd rejoice. I'd do a dance. I'd do a happy dance. You understand what I'm saying? So we always love to see people not injured. And the fact that Terrion is not going to lose his season and is not even going to miss significant time is very good for Terrion as a person. It is also very good for Terrion as a player because his development is necessary for us to continue to take the next step and the next step and the next step. We need to make sure that this guy, who is much maligned by the fan base, okay? For the way he plays, for the penalties, for this, that, and the third thing. Much maligned by the fan base. But I'm just telling you, give him time because the talent is there. Okay? And every time we talk about a cornerback, Terrion Arnold, unfortunately, we've got to talk about a bust. Okay, not another bust, an actual bust that we had. Number 3 overall pick, Jeffrey Namumbo Ohel-Nokuda out of Ohel State back in 2020. Who was an actual bust, who was on his 4th team in 4 years. Okay? The talent's not there. I don't know why he continues to get jobs, or maybe people are assigning him for special teams or whatever. The Vikings are a bit cooked because he's their 3rd cornerback. And you know what that means. If one of their cornerbacks goes down for any significant amount of time, Jeffrey Namumbo Ohelnokuda will find himself in the starting lineup. And I'm not gonna say anything. I'm not gonna wish injury on anybody, but I hope there is some way that Jeffrey Namumbo Ohelnokuda finds himself lined up early and often against one Jameson Williams, because they put this man in press man coverage and he does not know how to press. Okay, look, I'm gonna show you guys, because I didn't get the chance to do this. This is Jeffrey Namumbo Ohelnokuda pressing DK Metcalf. You ready? Oh, okay. He's coming off the line. He's coming. Here he comes. Oh, he got to me. Ha. Oh, okay. Turn it. Oh, I gotta catch him. What are you doing? What are you doing? Since when did that become press man coverage? Press man coverage. Jam him at the line. If he gets off of the line, you've already lost the rep. Jeffrey Namumbo Ohelnokuda lost the rep immediately because there was no contact off the line and there was no jam. It was a one-hand stab that did not go anywhere or do anything, as DK Metcalf swatted it like a fly and kept going, caught the pass. This, my friends, is not a talented cornerback. He doesn't know how to press, but he plays press man coverage. If you are going to play press man coverage, you need to know how to press, right? If you are going to bake a cake, you need to know how to bake it. If you are going to teach a class, you need to know the subject matter that you are teaching. If you are going to be a taste tester, please don't have COVID and can't taste anything. You understand what I'm saying? This is Jeffrey Namumbo Ohelnokuda. So before I get further, let me go ahead and get to y'all comments, because I see them. They're coming in. Raise the roof, y'all. I don't know why. I just thought of Wendell from from Key and Peele. Body 10, face 10. I hit that sexually. Raise the roof, y'all. I don't know why I said it that way, but it did. Taylor Decker said in his interview that Jared Goff was like John Wick. You killed my dog, LOL. Yeah, I did hear something about some John Wick stuff with Jared Goff, so I'm right on time. I guess I'm right on time. Whoop, there it is. I hope TA and the team as a whole stay injury-free the rest of the way. Prayers up, facts. Please, let's do that. Pump up the volume. Heck, 12 games. Cincinnati so dumb. Them MFs got somebody named Joe Flacco and he's 40. You don't know who Joe Flacco is? We just played him 2 weeks ago. He's completing his Oh Hell No tour. He was with the Browns, now he's with the Bengals. Pump up the jam. Pump it up. Davenport playing a full season. That's Fantasyland. LOL. I know. That's what I'm saying. I know it is. I would have Davenport rest up until the playoffs. Those are big facts. Because listen, I was gonna say that's not possible. So what I would do is, okay, if we're the number one seed again, I would sit him out for the divisional round. I would have him play in the NFC Championship and the Super Bowl, because he's only good for 2 games at a time. Right? So if we play him in the divisional round, we won't have him for the Super Bowl because he'll be injured. Okay, so you gotta just the NFC Championship game and the Super Bowl. We can have Marcus Davenport, and he can be impactful in those two games, and that maybe that's all we need to push us over the top. Who knows? Gotta listen to them Black Eyed Peas and Fergie now. Oh my goodness! Here goes this guy. Frog Crop, what up though? What up though, my guy? All right, so the Terrion Arnold news is fantastic news. Okay, now as I said, give him some time, be patient. The talent is there. As we said the other day, I think it might have been just yesterday. Jeffrey Namumbo Ahonokuda, when you compare him to Terrion Arnold, that means that you want Terrion Arnold to fail and you want to call him a bust right now. When you compare him to Darius Slay, that means you are looking to give him time because Darius Slay took some time. Darius Slay was not big play Slay as soon as he stepped onto the football field. Sauce Gardner was Sauce Gardner by reputation when he stepped onto the football field. I don't know. I've never seen a reputation of a college player carry over so far that in his first year as a rookie in the NFL, quarterbacks don't try to throw at him. That's what was happening with Sauce Gardner in year number one. In year number two, quarterbacks were like, F that, let me throw at Sauce Gardner. And he had a much worse season. Does Sauce Gardner suck? Is Sauce Gardner ass? No. He gets called for penalties too. He gets called for PIs. He gets called for holding. He gets called for all of this stuff. He just came out the other day and said he thinks he gets called for all of these things because the Jets are losers. That's what he said. So it takes time for young cornerbacks, right? Cornerback is really that 3-year situation. When you say the development time takes 3 years for a cornerback, that is true. That is the truth. Those are the facts. Okay. So just give him some time. As I said, the talent is there and we will see hopefully soon. Lions greatest hits. That sounds fun and all, but he needs game play. What do you mean? Yes, Terrion Arnold needs gameplay. That's what we're talking about. His development. Oh, are you talking about Marcus Davenport? No, he doesn't need gameplay. He's good for 2 games at a time. His track record shows you in Detroit, he's good for 2 games at a time. Last season, he was good for 2 games and went on IR for the whole season, for the rest of the season. This year, he was good for 2 games, the first 2 games of the season, and then he went on IR. So if you're bringing him back, you never know. You never know. What up, though, Taylor Made? If Sauce said that his days are numbered at MetLife. No, okay. So the losers part, I took a little bit of license. Okay. He said because the Jets are losing right now. He didn't say the Jets are losers. I said this. Okay. But it was a little bit of dramatic license. Okay. So here's the thing that we need to talk about. We need to talk about those damn Kansas City Chiefs. Now, all right. And I wish his days were numbered at MetLife. Come on over to Ford Field. Come on back. You know you want to. Here's the thing that I will say. I don't know if any of you guys watched the Kansas City Chiefs game last night. You probably should have watched it if you didn't watch it, because you have to see who your opponent is going to be for the next week. We are going to be traveling to Arrowhead to play the Kansas City Chiefs on Sunday Night Football. It is a short week for them. It is a regular week for us. Does that matter? Not all the time, but sometimes it could. The first couple drives of that game looked like it was going to be a blowout. As the game moved on, I think they started out 14-0 Chiefs. As the game moved on, the Jacksonville Jaguars somehow got back into the game. They retook the lead. There were multiple instances of referee misconduct because this is what happens when the Kansas City Chiefs play. But even though there was referee misconduct, the Chiefs were still not able to pull this game out. What do I mean about referee misconduct? The first instance of referee misconduct came into play where, and it wasn't even just referee, it was the whole machine. It was replay review, it was everything. Trevor Lawrence reaches the ball and breaks the plane on a 4th and goal, and they don't give him the touchdown. And upon further review, it was very clear that Trevor Lawrence reached over and broke the plane with the football, and it should have been a touchdown. But it was still overturned, or it was still not ruled a touchdown. Okay, cool. Later on, there's a situation where the Jacksonville Jaguars are backed up in their own territory. Trevor Lawrence throws what is clearly not an interception. It was an interception by rule, by definition, because Trevor Lawrence threw the ball to the Chiefs. Trevor Lawrence, if you didn't know, plays for the Jacksonville Jaguars. The Kansas City Chiefs are not based in Jacksonville, right? The Kansas City Chiefs wear red. The Jacksonville Jaguars wear teal, sometimes black. So it was, by definition, an interception. The only problem is that we're not playing hockey. And when you are passing to a wide receiver, you cannot come in and hip check him to prevent him from getting the ball. That, my friends, is called pass interference. So many angles of that play showed you that it was pass interference. You actually didn't need angles. You actually didn't need replay because it was so egregious that if you were looking at who he was throwing to, it was so very, very clear that that was pass interference. You might as well have tackled him. Tackle and grapple. Tackle and grapple. Hashtag tackle and grapple. If you know, you know. You should hashtag. You might as well have tackled him. But that stood, and the Chiefs got the ball like inside of the 20, and of course, a few plays later, they scored. Super, super duper inept drive in the final 2 minutes by the Jacksonville Jaguars. At some point in time, I've never been on the Trevor Lawrence train. I've always felt that there was something missing with Trevor Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence made some wild decisions. He made some wild decisions. I don't know exactly what goes on in his mind, and I don't watch him play often, but what I saw from him last night was very frantic, and I said this, I didn't see a lot of poise. Trevor Lawrence will take off and run and not keep his eyes down the field. Trevor Lawrence feels like he's missing some sort of development. He's missing some sort of coaching. There's something that he's missing out on that's not quite connecting with what he needs to be doing in the NFL. I say all that to say this. With all that went your way, Kansas City Chiefs, you still lost. With this quarterback that was playing at this frantic, frenetic pace, and it wasn't like a frantic, frenetic pace like, oh, I can't keep up. They're running tempo. Oh, man, it's gassing out my defense. No, it was frantic and frenetic in the way that he looked like he was on crack or something, right? It wasn't speeding up the game. Excuse me. it wasn't speeding up the game. It wasn't something that the Chiefs couldn't keep up with. His decision making was just erratic. It was all over the place. He didn't throw the ball away when he should have. You know, it just wasn't. You know, I don't know. It's not what you would expect from the second coming of Andrew Luck. You know, which he's not. Okay. Egregious. Yes. So you guys, Kansas City, went into Duval and lost that game. With all that going for you, and with all that going against the Jacksonville Jaguars, my question is, if you watch the game in the chat, my question to you is, are the Jacksonville Jaguars good and the Chiefs are bad? Or are the Chiefs just bad and they lost to a team that's at best mediocre? Because when you are playing or when you're watching, scouting an opponent, your next opponent, and the team that they're playing against is Cheeks, you really can't get a good gauge on that opponent. Now, here's the other question. If they can't beat a Cheeks team, then that means they're Cheeks. But we don't know if the Jaguars are Cheeks or if they're good. To be honest with you, if you didn't watch Trevor Lawrence, if you took that out of the equation, and you said, "All right, we're just going to watch the game," honestly, the Jags didn't look that bad. They didn't look like they have in the past when they were just terrible. The Jags are 4-1, by the way, same record that the Lions have. The best teams in the NFL are 4-1. Do I think that the Jacksonville Jaguars are among the best teams in the NFL? No, I don't. Is the 4-1 team different? Is the 4-1 team that the Kansas City Chiefs will face on Sunday night different from the 4-1 team that they just faced? Well, actually, they weren't 4-1; they were 3-1, and then someone met. Sorry, they weren't 4-1. They were 3-1. They beat the Chiefs, and then they became 4-1. But that team is different than the team that they're going to face on Sunday. So my question is, I guess, how concerned are you about the Kansas City Chiefs? Do you think it's a game that is going to be easily won? Do you think it's a game that's going to be hard fought? Do you think it's a game that we should worry about? I'm not ready to change any predictions based on what I saw last night. I predicted it as a win when the season came out, or when the schedule came out. I still have it as a win. I don't think that the Kansas City Chiefs are back because, again, they didn't win. They actually lost this game. My only struggle is their level of opponent. Was their level of opponent actually good, or was their level of opponent actually bad? If their level of opponent was actually bad, that's worse for them, because that means that they weren't very good, right? If their level of opponent was actually good, then that means that they struggle with good opponents, which means when we come to town, they should struggle. So either way, I think it looks good for us, but obviously they've got Patrick Mahomes, and when you got Patrick Mahomes, you have a chance. Fun fact about the Kansas City Chiefs: they have their 3 wide receivers all run sub 4.3 40s. Xavier Worthy runs a 4.21, and I think Hollywood Brown runs a 4.27, and I think Thornton runs a 4.26. Or maybe it's a 4.28, but they're all sub 4.3 guys, which if we watch the tape from last night, I think the Lions will have a pretty good idea of how to contain those three guys because it's not like they went off last night either. So we'll see what happens. All right, let's see what we got over here in the chat. What up, though, Zach J? I literally said Duval like 90 times last night. Duval. I watched Trevor Lawrence lift his club to a W. He made plays. He didn't make plays, but he looked bad doing them. That's all I'm saying. Like there's just see, I would say that my eye test is impeccable. Okay, I have an impeccable eye test, and I can realize very early if you have it or not. Right? Just like when we talk about Caleb Williams, like I know Caleb Williams has it, but I also understand that he has a problem where he's having a love affair with Hero Ball. And until those two break up, he's not going to reach his full potential. Right? Jeffrey Namumbo, hell no Kuda. I could tell you very early on that he was trash. Right? Terrion Arnold, I could tell you very early on that, yes, he's not playing the greatest right now, but if you give him an opportunity, because he has the talent, if you give him opportunity, you give him the chance, he could be your starting corner in a couple of years. Okay? So I have an impeccable eye test, and Trevor Lawrence just doesn't pass mine. He never has. He never has. Right? That's why he's going into his 5th year, and this looks to be his first winning season. I mean, I don't know who they have down the stretch the rest of the way, but I don't imagine them going 4-12 or 13. I don't imagine that. I don't imagine them not winning another game. Okay. Are they going to make the playoffs? I don't know. They have to win their division. Their division is are the Colts in their division somehow? I feel like the Colts are somehow in their division. Yes. So they're not winning the division. But the Colts are the same record, 4-1. So it's possible. Who knows? I don't. I think it's going to be a hard-fought game, but only because our CBs are decimated. Yeah, that's going to be another issue that we have to deal with. As I said, all the wide receivers are sub 4.3 guys. And in order to keep them from going deep, we do have Kirby. So the possibility of Kirby having a multiple pick game is very high in this situation, I would say. What's good, Troy? I knew Kuda was trash just because Quinn drafted him. I mean, every player that Quinn drafted wasn't trash, right? Quinn drafted Frank Ragnow, right? Didn't he also draft Taylor Decker? I'm just saying. You know? I'm just saying. Doesn't Casey move Chris Jones out to the edge at times? If so, not going to get any easier for Manu, or is Skipper available? Yes, they do. And I think on that play where Trevor Lawrence fell down and got up and ran into the end zone, I feel like Chris Jones was on the outside, but not doing much. Skipper, I believe, is available. I think Dan Campbell said we get Skipper back. So I believe he's available. I understand that things are going to get tougher for Manu, but I don't want to throw Manu out there. I just don't want to put him there. You understand what I'm saying? It just ain't it. You understand what I'm saying? It just ain't it. Yeah, we got to figure something out on that situation. I hope Decker comes back. It didn't sound like he was coming back unless he just got some miraculous strength in his shoulder, because that's what Dan Campbell said. Is we're getting diminishing returns, and we had to, shut him down for a little bit so that we can have him for the playoff push, for the long haul, and all these things. So, I mean, I respect it. I don't agree with it, but I respect it because we got Mano, and he ain't ready. He's not ready for prime time. Everyone outside of OL. So if he didn't draft an offensive lineman, he drafted someone else, then that made it. We guaranteed that dude was going to be trash. As far as the Kansas City game and what we're going to have to deal with, I'm sorry if you guys hear noise coming from the background. It seems like someone is standing directly behind the door with their mouth on the door trying to speak and be heard. But as far as, the cornerback situation, I mean, we got to meet the freak. We've got Trey Flowers, who didn't look bad in his spot duty last week. We've got our two safeties. I think we're going to have a plan to get after Patrick Mahomes. Either a plan to get after Mahomes, or as far as like Travis Kelce getting open, we don't have enough people that we can allocate resources to what they have, and vice versa, right? So we're not going to play the soft shell bracket coverage that who was it? The Ravens, teams all year have done this because we have JMO. I don't think we're going to do that. That's what Jacksonville did last night, though. So, I mean, we may see some variation of that because it was pretty successful. You beat the Chiefs more than they scored to what they scored, right? You scored more than them, they scored less than you. So, I don't know. But I just don't. Is there that much of a drop off from Terrion Arnold to Trey Flowers? Do you guys think? I mean, Amik plays very well. We know he plays very well. We know what his skill set is. We know he can go up against bigger receivers, but the receivers that the Kansas City Chiefs have aren't big. Thornton is the only one, I think, who's over 6 foot. Like really legitimately over 6 foot. I mean, Hollywood Brown and Xavier Worthy may be listed at 6 foot, but they're like 5'10". So again, I don't know. I really don't. Manu starting is risking our franchise QB. Can't agree with that. Facts. Travis Swift will have another meltdown and cost his team. I think there's going to be a heavy emphasis on penalties. And the reason I feel that way is you're putting yourself in harm's way by not playing a certain way. You're putting yourself in harm's way every time you step on the field. So we can't say that injuries won't be a factor if you do such and such. The fact of the matter is that energies are still a injuries. Did I say energies? Injuries are still going to be part of the game. So we'll see what happens with it, I guess. All right. Um, long term, what is your course of action? If you were Brad Holmes, what would you do in this situation? I'm going to turn it over to y'all. If you were Brad Holmes, what would you do in this situation? I personally don't think that there's a drop off from Terrion Arnold and Trey Flowers. Not a big one anyway. Trey Flowers looked fine. He wasn't out there getting exposed. Yeah. So what did you guys think? Over under on roughing the passer calls against us this week. Who's the passer? Oh, Patrick Mahomes. Yeah. I think over under 3. Roughing the passers. I'm going to set it at 3. I'm going to go. So what do you guys think? What's your move if you're Brad Holmes? Are we running around trying to shore up the secondary? Are we still focusing on the defensive line depth? What's the move that we need to make? I will say this: when you give your quarterback less time to play or less time to scan the field, the more hurried he's going to be, the more likely he is going to be to create a distraction. So let's see what happens. All right, let's check this out here. If anybody was was looking for CJ GJ to come back and help, he's signed with the Ravens, so he's no longer available. I don't know if anybody was looking for that. All right. All right. So talking about the defensive line, giving the secondary more time. Let's look at this. It says the sack leader for every NFL. That's not what that was supposed to be. Click that. Wow. Okay. It doesn't pop up. The Colts are signing Michael Badgley, so congratulations to him for getting a deal. Let's see. I'm either showing up the CB or getting an edge because you either need to get to the QB or hold it down on the backside. I feel like I just want to get to the QB. Yeah, I think I'm just going to get an edge because you get an edge. Then again, as I said, the quarterback has less time to throw. If you get a DB, the quarterback has less time to throw because the clock is going to speed up in his head. Okay. All right. Let's see. The Lions need to get somebody in there that can cover. I mean, there's really no wrong answer, but the problem is you don't want someone covering for far too long. Right? CJGJ is just on the practice squad. I don't think we poach him. On this practice squad, probably still running his mouth like a chihuahua. Probably. If you get an edge, you are eventually gonna need getting Reed and Terry on back. Right. So let's see. All right. So what we're gonna do is this. Mailbag. What you gonna do? What you gonna do when they reading you? Mailbag. Snick. Mailbag. Get your mailbag questions in. Bask in it. All right. Get those mailbag questions in. I'm going to stab out. If you know the Chiefs have 3 cats running 4-2s, which Lions can cover that in man? I don't think you play a whole lot of man. I think you definitely have to play some zone. They did play zone against who did they play some zone against? I don't think it was last week. Yeah. I forget who it was, but we mixed in quite a bit of zone. I want to say the Cleveland Browns, Baltimore Ravens definitely had to play zone against them because you can't just turn your back on Lamar. Mailbag, any updates on Pascal? Not a single one. Before you mention his name, I forgot he was on the team. Not a single one. Mailbag, Isaiah Pacheco is due while folks game plan to keep Mahomes in the pocket. Somebody's going to get the rock in the Chiefs running game. What say you? I say no. The Chiefs running game is not good. We are number 2 in the league against stopping the run. So I wouldn't worry too much about Pacheco at all. AutoZone. Mailbag. You mentioned penalties. The Chiefs have some hitters in the secondary. If Khalif Raymond can't go, how would you try to protect Tesla from getting folded up? Well, I don't think Tesla is going to be doing any special team stuff as far as returning, but if you're talking about just regular on the field play, I mean, Tesla's a biggish dude. He can handle himself. But the way that you get controlled a little bit is just don't throw him any hospital balls. You know, just don't do that. All right. I gotta go take a nap. Gots to go take a nap. All right, y'all. Appreciate y'all once again. I shall be back tomorrow with another exciting edition of As the World Turns. No, I'm just playing. Once again, the Motor City Cats are back at it. We came to give you stats, not none of that static. Whatever you do, make sure you keep your Lions news pragmatic. NFC North report should be coming soon. We've only got 2 games this week, so it'll be pretty easy. It'll be the Lions and it will be the Vikings. So make sure you stay tuned for that. Hey, smash that like button, subscribe. If you have not subscribed to the Motor City Cats YouTube channel, please go and do that. I will put the link in the chat. All right, so make sure you go ahead and go over there and subscribe. If you can't find it for whatever reason, like if you can't use the reverse, just go ahead and do that. If you can't click on it, because someone Mr. Morale 313 pasted a link into this chat for me yesterday, and I could not click on it, so I had to go into the actual YouTube chat. So if you're in the LNU chat and you can't click on links, just copy and paste it and send it over to your YouTube, and then start a chat with yourself to buy the weapon. All right. Yeah, we out of here. I shall see y'all tomorrow. Peace.